absolutely. It's interesting, Jamie. I was reading earlier, when I grew up, when I was a kid, I used to love to listen to the radio, and kids today are not listening to the radio, are they? I mean, it's a totally different world out there. And there was a statistic, I think it's about 15 to 20% of the United States are listening to podcasts on a weekly basis, which to me means that there's another 80% of the world out there that are eventually going to pick up on this technology. Podcasting isn't new. It's I call it one of the older forms of social media, but
Right.
it seems to me, when we're looking at the numbers, that the numbers just keep going up, and there's just such a big market out there for podcasting, and that's what I love about it.
Well, you mentioned Blueberry earlier,
Hmm.
and Todd Cochran is the CEO of
Yeah.
Raw Voice that owns that. And my business partner and I were lucky enough to have dinner with him at
Oh, wow.
Podcast Movement last year, and he came out with a stat that at I think it was a little bit later on, but it was there was 250,000 RSS feeds submitted to iTunes,
Is that right?
and then 3 months later, it was over 300,000.
300,000. Isn't that, I mean,
And
listen,
that's a
look at
month.
those numbers. That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
one
crazy.
month. I
Yeah.
mean, it is. It's just incredible. So there's just so much growth, I think, in podcasting. But one of the things I notice in podcasting, I find it kind of interesting, is the people that have a podcast or the people that are drawn to podcasts. It's this community. I mean, they're very giving people, and I can't tell you why that is. It's almost like a podcaster is sometimes different from a blogger. You know what I mean? In terms of
Oh,
personality
yep,
wise. I
way
mean,
different.
it's just there's something about them that I'm drawn to, kind of like entrepreneurs, is they're very willing to share their secrets and their tips and things like that, and they just want the whole field of podcasting to grow, and I think that's why I was drawn to you and your show as well, was just very giving. I got a lot of great tips from listening to you.
Oh, well, that's
So now
that's
you know where I
awesome.
get my ideas.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, that's awesome. Well, so we both have this common love for podcasting and